The debt we owe to the play of imagination is incalculable. Envy does not allow humanity to sleep. Protection and security are only valuable if they do not cramp life excessively. Magic is the science of the jungle. How difficult it is to reach anything approaching a moderate and relatively calm point of view in the midst of one's emotions. From the middle of life onward, only he remains vitally alive who is ready to die with life. Fidelity to the law of your own being is an act of high courage flung in the face of life. One cannot free oneself by bowing to the yoke, but by breaking it. I am this bundle of what has been, and what has been accomplished. Sentimentality is a superstructure covering brutality. An archetypal content expresses itself, first and foremost, in metaphors. Hitler's movement is near to Mohammedanism. I live in my deepest hell, and from there I cannot fall any further. Ultimate truth, if there be such a thing, demands the concert of many voices. That which we do not bring to consciousness appears in our lives as fate. Creativity is the art that can give rise to visionary metaphorical relationships, as opposed to purely psychological ones. When facts are few, speculations are most likely to represent individual psychology. Nights through dreams tell the myths forgotten by the day. In all earnestness, I asked myself what kind of world I had stumbled into. The sure path can only lead to death. Art is a kind of innate drive that seizes a human being and makes him its instrument. A scream is always just that, a noise and not music. Only in our creative acts do we step forth into the light and see ourselves whole and complete. In knowing ourselves to be unique, we possess the capacity for becoming conscious of the infinite. But only then. Once upon a time men were possessed by devils. Now they are not less obsessed by ideas. Every civilized human being, whatever his conscious development, is still an archaic man at the deeper levels of his psyche. Every victory contains the germ of future defeat. The upheaval of our world and the upheaval of our consciousness are one and the same. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal which robs the second half of life of its purpose. The inner man has access to the sense organs of God. It is indeed time for the clergyman and the psychotherapist to join forces. You can take away a man's gods, but only to give him others in return. Special knowledge is a terrible disadvantage. A collection of 100 great brains makes one big fat head. I believe that history is capable of anything. There exists no folly that men have not tried out. Man is the mirror God holds up to himself, the sense organ with which he apprehends his being. Becoming conscious is of course a sacrilege against nature. It is as though you had robbed the unconscious of something. Recognition of the reality of evil necessarily relativizes the good, and the evil likewise, converting both into halves of a paradoxical whole. We can keep from a child all knowledge of earlier myths, but we cannot take from him the need for mythology. The world hangs on a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man. If you should see people in a room, you would not think that you had made those people, or that you were responsible for them. Those who look outside, dream. Those who look inside, awaken. Psychological type is nothing static, it changes in the course of life. A particularly beautiful woman is a source of terror. As a rule, a beautiful woman is a terrible disappointment. Nothing is more repulsive than a furtively prurient spirituality. It is just as unsavory as gross sensuality. To become conscious of it involves recognizing the dark aspects of the personality as present and real. The self is our life's goal, for it is the completest expression of that fateful combination we call individuality. What happens in the life of Christ happens always and everywhere. In the Christian archetype, all lives of this kind are prefigured. Thank God I'm not a Jungian. A true symbol appears only when there is a need to express what thought cannot think or what is only divined or felt. Colors express the main psychic functions of man. We are convinced that certain people have all the bad qualities we do not know in ourselves. What you call knowledge is an attempt to impose something comprehensible on life. The person who looks outward dreams, the person who looks inward awakens. 4. In order to turn the individual into a function of the state, his dependence on anything beside the state must be taken from him. The symbols of the self arise from the depths of the body. Liverpool is the pool of life, it makes to live. Observance of customs and laws can very easily be a cloak for a lie so subtle that our fellow human beings are unable to detect it. St. Thomas is really a great man quite apart from his saintliness. The greatest and most important problems of life are all fundamentally insoluble. They can never be solved but only outgrown. Without playing with fantasy, no creative work has yet come into being. Had I left those images hidden in the emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. The wrong we have done, thought, or intended will wreak its vengeance on our souls. Please watch these wise videos.